The end is the beginning. That's what our texts all season are about. Advent doesn't mean countdown. It means beginning, as in the beginning of God's reign made manifest. Before what we hear from Matthew's gospel today, Jesus had been talking to the disciples a lot more explicitly about the end of days. What we hear today is Jesus talking about how no one knows the day nor the hour that he will return, not even him. As Jesus is talking about the end, though, Isaiah is telling us about what is to come. Isaiah is offering a lonely, exiled people hope for the day of their salvation. In days to come, the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established as the highest of the mountains, and shall be raised above the hills. All the nations shall stream to it. Many peoples shall come and say, "Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, that he may teach us his ways, and that we may walk in his paths. He shall judge between the nations and shall arbitrate for many peoples. They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore." The end is the beginning. That's what our texts today, our texts all season, are about. In her phenomenal book, simply titled Advent, the Reverend Fleming Rutledge says right on page 1, quote, "Advent is not simply a transitional season, but in and of itself communicates a message of immense, even ultimate importance. Of all the seasons of the church year, Advent most closely mirrors the daily lives of Christians and of the church, asks the most important ethical questions, presents the most accurate picture of the human condition, and above all, orients us to the future of the God who will come again. Of all the seasons of the church year, Advent most closely mirrors the daily lives of Christians and of the church." Paul writes to the church at Philippi, "Our citizenship is in heaven, and we find ourselves like the people to whom Isaiah is writing. This place, this time, this life are not our true, ultimate home." Stanley Hauerwas elaborates on that theme extensively in his book, Resident Aliens. We live the lives that we have about us, but we know that this is not the end. Throughout the year, I talk about God's reign being made manifest, and the hope we have that this is not the end because of Jesus' defeat of death and the grave. Advent reorients us. It points us to what is the end. Advent offers, this is what the end will be, in contrast to the constant reminder, all of this is not the end. The end, when this world ceases to be, is the beginning of God's ultimate creation. They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. The end is the beginning. That's what our texts today, our texts all season, are about. As Jesus tells the stories about women grinding meal together and two in a field where one is taken in both instances, Jesus is not talking about the rapture. He's offering a warning about the necessity of being ready for God's return. Keep awake, therefore, for you do not know on what day your Lord is coming. But understand this: if the owner of the house had known in what part of the night the thief was coming, he would have stayed awake and would not have let his house be broken into. Therefore, you must be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an unexpected hour. Next Sunday, we'll hear John the Baptizer calling us to prepare the way of the Lord. The Taizé community has the delightful refrain, "Prepare the way of the Lord, and all people will know the salvation of our God." Preparing the way of the Lord, staying awake, staying ready for Jesus' return, is about people knowing the salvation of our God. This isn't trying to scare people to turn or burn. None of the New Testament writings, especially not even Revelation, is about scaring people to turn or burn. The warnings to Jesus' disciples are warnings that we have a task to make God known and to show the ways that Jesus has changed creation. The warnings to Jesus' disciples to stay awake, to be ready, Jesus' disciples, among whom we count ourselves, are about making God's salvation known. And Isaiah tells us what God's salvation looks like. Today we hear Paul write to the church at Rome, "You know what time it is, how it is now the moment for you to wake from sleep. For salvation is nearer to us now than when we became believers. The night is far gone, the day is near. Let us then lay aside the works of darkness and put on the armor of light. Let us live honorably as in the day." Jesus makes clear that we don't know the day or the hour that he will return. Nevertheless, Paul says what Advent tells us: now is the time to put away the works of darkness, and that's every now. As we live as resident aliens, separated from the fullness of God's reign, like the Israelites in exile, now is the time to prepare the way of the Lord by making known to the world the salvation of our God. Of all the seasons of the church year, Advent most closely mirrors the daily lives of Christians and of the church. Some may choose a fast this season. Others may choose to restart or start for the first time a practice of the daily office. And others will simply take time to reset and settle into some Advent stillness, Advent quiet, before the hustle of the holiday season completely consumes them. Every day, every Advent offers the invitation to reorient us toward what the end is. The end, when the world ceases to be, when it is made new, is the beginning of God's ultimate creation. The end is just the beginning.